Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
I don't know who need to hear this, but let me put this out here. Stop sparing folks. Hello, somebody. Stop sparing folks. Nobody cared when your feelings was hurt. Nobody cared when you was pacing the floor. Nobody cared when you was sliding down the wall. Nobody cared when you was standing over there with a face full of tears. You had to suck it up, buttercup. But then when it come to other folk feelings, here you are. Want to tiptoe around it. Want to avoid the elephant in the room. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to disturb the peace. Stop sparing folk. Ain't nobody spare you when it was your turn. Give it to them real. Give it to them raw. Give it to them uncut and uncensored. This is exactly what it is. This way you had me messed up at. Yeah. I ain't playing with nobody this season, baby. I'm gonna say this right here, baby, because some of y'all be acting like y'all don't be seeing it. But baby, playing victim in a situation that you created, oh yeah, baby, that's narcissistic as hell to me. Hello, somebody, how you gonna create the storm, then get mad when it rain? How you hurt somebody and then get mad that they hurt? How you damage somebody, go outside your way to destroy a person and then get mad when they no longer want to deal with you? Baby, playing a victim in a situation that you created, oh baby, that's narcissistic as hell to me. I'm sorry, but it is.
If you shave your cooch, but not your booty hole, is that the same as a mullet?
My tongue out her ass and left. I'm on TV. Oh shit! First cops, now this. Oh.
I grabbed the wrong button. I'm discombobulated over here. I got buttons. We're in office 2. We're not out in the living room today. I brought the equipment in into office 2. It's one of those days. And I got up in the middle of the intro to run out. I'm like, shoot, I forgot my buttons. We can't start the show without my buttons. I need to push some buttons. So good morning to all of my beautiful people out there. I hope you guys are having a great morning. I know I said I wasn't going to be here at 10, but here I am, right? So long story short is we were going to do a comparison type of show with the mom and stepdad's interview on Smiley's World and the interview from 320 from Seth Rogers. And so I was going to do a comparison this morning. It was going to be we've moved that to 5:30. If you guys haven't already signed up for that show, it's already activated. If you guys will go over there and click remind me so you guys don't miss that, because it's going to be a very detailed, we're going to go over a lot of information, and we're going to compare mom and stepdad to dad, right? Because I'm so sick and tired of people dogging Seth while putting these horrible people that abuse children on a freaking pedestal. It ain't happening on the Bullhorn Betty show. Just is not happening on the Bullhorn Betty show. I'm sorry, not going. All right, so before we get started in that, we always have a few stories to talk about, and then we're going to jump in. We do have some information on who the remains may belong to that were found 2.5 hours away from this young man's home. But before we get started, this was a very interesting article I read yesterday that I thought was like mind-blowing, that I thought everyone should learn about, because it's a little crazy. It's kind of next level crazy, and it blew my mind. Melanie, good morning. Grave crime with Grace. It's nice to see you. Sort of Morta. T.D. Dean. You can't see me. Bullhorn Betty is present. Melanie. Phil, good morning. Our beautiful unicorn Indiana is up in the house. Our beautiful Andrea, crazy cat lady, good morning. The real Me Too YouTuber. Oh, SRK. It's nice to see you, my love. Peggy. Flocker's dad. It's nice to see you. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Stephanie, good morning. Who else do we have? Veronica B. True Crime Addict. It's nice to see you. Southern Grammy. Zipper. It's nice to have you here as well. Chaos is up in the house. Oh, Melanie, thank you. Betty, Delilah, chat mods, love you all. Betty, thank you for all for doing what you do. Thank you so much for that. God bless you. We are raising money. She's already made half of it because I put any super chats. So I figured $1. So it's 10. We'll put her in 10 sections. So we've already met just about our entire our entire request. So I think we'll do the mullet show or the mullet party afterwards. Kathy, it's nice to see you up in the house. Leslie, keep it real. Sam's pretty paranormal. It's nice to see you, my love. Sandy, good morning. MTB, good morning. Stella, good morning. It's nice to see you all here. Lynette, good morning. Who else do we have? I think we've got Dawn, good morning. VA. I think we've got just about Love Lakers. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Little bit of everything. Lisa Ann, it's nice to see you. Rob Beanie, good morning. Hope B. This could very well be the reason for the lack of evidence in the case. It very well could. We're going to be diving into it, so just stick with me for a little bit. Mickey Shell, it's nice to see you. Everybody else coming in. We do have a long show, so I'm going to try to, parse it down to 2 hours if we can, but it's going to be an extended show. So if you guys need to leave, I understand. Laura, good morning. Sonia, good morning. I know B. Betty fan is somewhere in the house, so good morning, B. Betty. Oh, thank you, SRK. God bless you. Hugs and kisses, love. Hugs and kisses. Let me get back to this one right here. This is crazy, y'all. Okay, this is stuff, next level stuff we don't even think of. An Arizona woman pleads guilty to running a laptop farm for North Korea IT workers. Faces a 9-year sentence. I personally think she should face a lot more than that, because this is talking about not only opening, national security issues, but also the identity theft. The identity theft to run this farm is ridiculous. A U.S. citizen pleads guilty Tuesday for playing a role in a wide-range scheme that allowed multiple North Korean nationals to collect paychecks from more than 300 U.S. companies. Her name is Christina Marie Chapman. She's 48. She lives in Litchfield Park, Arizona. Pleads guilty in the U.S. District Court on charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, and conspiracy to launder money instrument. Chapman was arrested last May as part of a wider takedown of North Korea's scheme to have hundreds of their citizens hired on winning U.S. companies in IT positions. The Department of Justice said Chapman helped her group of North Korean workers earn more than $17.1 million, most of which was sent back to the North Korean government. This happened from October 2020 to October 2023. Chapman served several roles, helping the North Korean workers acquire stolen identities of more than 70 U.S. citizens and running a laptop farm at her home where companies would send corporate laptops after the workers had been hired. The laptop farm allowed it to look as though the North Koreans were working from the U.S. when they were working from China, Russia, Laos, and other countries friendly to North Korea. The workers were typically hired through third-party staffing agencies with temporary contract firms. The $17.1 million earned through the scheme was falsely reported to the IRS and Social Security Administration in the names of actual U.S. individuals whose identities had been stolen. $17.1 million worth of taxes. That money right there, people have to pay taxes on it. And the people that didn't even collect the money and their identities was stolen, IRS was wanting the money from them. Chapman was initially alongside a 27-year-old Ukrainian, I can't pronounce his name, for helping at least 3 workers who operated with aliases. And they list the aliases here. The 3 were hired as software and application developers with companies. This goes on and on and on. This to me is very, very scary, not only to us, but also to our national security. We've got North Korea in our computers and in some of our, future or Fortune 500 companies. This is insane, but I thought it would be interesting. It's interesting to me. Maybe it's because I'm just a bunk for, political stuff and why I'm so adamant on our security here in our country. we have at the request. Now, I haven't done a deep dive into this case, but at the request of one of our audience members, I would put this missing person up. Apparently, they're still missing. They've been missing since January 24, 2025. This is Justin Dwayne Baker. He is from, I think it was Oklahoma, Roland, Oklahoma. And he has salt and pepper hair. As you can see, he's a good-looking guy, kind of thick. So he has been missing for some time. This is what it says. Justin also goes by the nickname Baker and Bubba. Justin was last seen at the Old Town Bar in Fort Smith around 2:30 a.m. on January 24th, 2025. He had gotten a ride home. The vehicle had one woman and one male in it, and there was an automobile crash in Muldrow near Paw Paw Cemetery. The car ended up in the Arkansas River. The other two people were able to swim ashore but lost track of Justin. He was last seen wearing a blue plaid long sleeve shirt with pearl buttons. He has a tattoo of his mother's name on his right arm, Kelly. Angry sun on his right forearm with orange and blue flames, iron cross. So it sounds like if anybody's around there or would like to search, it sounds like there was an automobile crash that threw the car into the Arkansas River. So it would be my thought that he would probably have been injured or somewhere around there. This does not sound good, but it doesn't sound like it has, foul play associated with it so far. But with it being almost a month and they still haven't found him in the Arkansas River, that's a little problematic for me. So, there's always problematic issues in a lot of the stuff that we have. All right, guys, thank you so much for allowing me to bend your ear on some other, couple other cases. Like I said, I wasn't going to take too long in that. Probably one of the first intros that I've gotten done before an hour when I include other stories in it. But this is kind of it. Now we're going to kind of dovetail over to the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. And I've got some updates for you guys because I truly do believe that maybe we might have identified, and thanks to Jennifer Coffindaffer, may have identified the remains that were found in Mount Roosevelt. So somebody also, thank you guys. You guys are amazing about sending me information. So I just want to tell you thank you and how much I do appreciate the information that you guys have provided. Jennifer Coffindaffer did a search and kind of uncovered who the person might be. So let me pull this up on the channel. I had the wrong one. I'm sorry. Right there. So according to Jennifer Coffindaffer, one individual is missing from Cumberland County, Tennessee. His name's Cody Ramsey. He's been missing since 2022, but here's the kicker. When I looked into him, guess what his address is? His address is Wetzel, the same road that this body was found on. So this to me seems to be the most probable person it could be is Cody Ramsey. We still don't know anything yet, as Jennifer Coffindaffer has informed us, but here is most likely, and we need to be saying a prayer for his family, most likely the gentleman that lost his life right there. That's Cody Andrew Ramsey. He's 32 years old and missing from Rockwood, Tennessee on August 3rd, 2022. The circumstances surrounding his disappearance remain unclear, with limited details released to the public. Cody's family was in contact with him August 3rd, 2022, and reported him to the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office on August 15th, 2022. Oh, I don't know why it did that, but I was trying to read more. It clearly won't let me read more. But here is where is the address that he was at? He went missing from the same road that somebody was found on, and it's not saying here, but it is Wetzel. that he, or whatever the name of that road was. I need to find that though. Hold on a second. Let me look for something. Cody Ramsey. Yeah, 1872 Westall Road. He went missing from 1872 Westall Road. This park, here, let me pull, actually, I can probably pull that up so you guys can see it. Where did it go? Did I throw it away? I must have just, oh, here it is. Let me put this one up right here. Share this instead. As you guys can see on this one, if you see it right here, let me see if I can highlight it for you. There's where he went missing from, 1872 Westall Road. The body that was found was at a Mount Roosevelt State Park on Westall Road. The Westall Road, he was at the entrance of Westall Road. So the entrance to the park. So I think, in my opinion, Jennifer Coffindaffer hit the nail on the head. This makes the most sense. It's somebody that has been missing for a significant amount of time. It is a male, which is what I presumed it would be, an older male, which I presumed it would be, and he's been missing for a significant amount of time. And now we find out he went missing on the very road that they found this body on. So all the lines and everything are kind of lining up for this, but I did want to let you guys know, because we are so invested in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. My biggest fear was that folks were going to start thinking this was, and we have a father that is missing his son that we have to worry about. You know, we can't be just going and just throwing stuff around, because let's face it, we have a dad that's searching for his son. And every time he gets these calls, it's got to do something to him. So I've always I side with a lot of caution when it comes to the Sebastian Rogers case, for my respect and the fact that I'm friends with his dad. And I, try to protect his dad as much as possible, because he's been attacked enough. And we want just information going to him that could be Sebastian. Nothing more, nothing less. Our goal is to find Sebastian and to bring him home safely. So I'm going to just read a couple things here to you from some audience members, and they have provided me some photos. I'm not going to really show you all this stuff now. We will go more in depth maybe later this afternoon. But this is one from our audience member. Hope you're well. I have looked into one of the photos that you now say is bad. However, part of that I was speaking about the object in front of or behind the neighbor's garage. And it was that storage building that has the window on it, where lights reflected off. Remember, the mob crew couldn't figure out what it was. To me, I believe it is really Katie's work van. I'm sending you the attached photos, which she did. And I looked at, and you can line up different parts of the van perfectly, in my opinion. The white box you can see in the photo on the Proudfoot's property is visible on the photo behind the object too. You can even see the van was over to the right in one of the more to the middle, where it appears now in the photo. Hope this helps. Yes, I have actually brought up to the mob crew that I think that is an angle, the van, and it just looks odd with the angle of the camera, but it does match up. But there were some oddities with that as well. And I don't know, because that particular photo was modified. It was not enhanced. The image didn't change or didn't stay the same. It changed. Somebody went in there and blurred out the windows and blurred out other things, and then tried to go in there and draw them in. You could clearly see it. Hindsight sent me that. Hindsight and Mama Rissa got my attention in chat when I was going over it to inform me how compromised that photo was. And after they presented me all the information, I had to acknowledge that photo had been absolutely compromised by the Proudfoot's team that collected that information. So, once a photo is compromised, even if there's useful information in that photo, you can't use it because you don't know what's been compromised, what's been added. We definitely could see very clearly what was removed, but we don't know what else has been added other than coloring some boxes in that, they were trying to fix up and make the windows look like they didn't, blur out the windows. So it was a poorly modified image, but at the end of the day, it was compromised because of the modifications made by the Proudfoot's team. We do not modify, we enhance. That means the image of itself stays exactly the same. Nothing is altered or modified on that photo. The only thing we do is enhance the exposure, lift the shadows, reduce the noise, the light, and try to see if there's anything we can see in the shadows of a photo. Nothing has ever been blurred out. We've never added the timestamp on a photo. We've never physically modified any photo that we've ever worked with on this show, nor will we ever, because this show sells the truth, not a bunch of smoke and mirrors. We want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth on this channel. We don't care about the pissing contest. We don't care about people's feelings. We just want the truth. And we want this poor, beautiful boy that's sitting behind me that hasn't been around his family for almost a flippin' year to come home and be around his family and the people that care for him. And every single day that we go by, we get further from that goal when we're walking toward it. At least that's the way it feels sometimes. I know we have made leaps and bounds, work over and above what we've done. So here's also another email from another one of our folks here. It says, hey, BHB, long time no email. Back at you, babe. Remember when CP said he was in the crane and had orders coming in one ear and KP was in the other? That was so confusing. How was he getting orders from coworkers when both Silvers and yourself were told nobody was working that early? If he's the only one working way up there in that crane, who's giving the orders? Oops, he didn't think about that little nugget of information. I've gotten another one too from when SF, the unscrupulous PI, was talking to the Lore Lodge. He had first said the neighbor with the footage that LE didn't take had turned over the whole drive because it wasn't wireless Wi-Fi setup. And then right after he says they had the footage in the cloud, maybe I'm mistaken, but if they didn't have it on Wi-Fi, how was it on the cloud? Good point. That's all I wanted to mention. And great points on every single point. That's why I brought this up. So just to clarify the work, the stepfather's work. Yes, he worked out at Memphis at the St. Jude's Project. And while the gates were open, I went by there personally. And if you're just driving by and not stopping and not asking any questions, you're going to think everybody's arriving at 5:15. That's not true. There really weren't that many people that were arriving at that morning, but there were people arriving that morning. And when I had an opportunity to speak to them, I found out they were basically the ground crew. They're the ones inside the facility. They're the ones doing the plumbing, the lighting. The whole downstairs of that first floor was all lit up. They're the ones putting all that stuff in there. So once those floors are done and secure, the other workers, the other subcontractors, think about all the different type of subcontractors you have on a project like that. You have drywall, you have plumbing contractors, electrical contractors, you have drywall contractors, you've got, paint contractors, you've got, then you've got the people that need to come in and put those faucets and fixtures in. Those are employees of those subcontractors that go in there. So we had people on that first level, and the first level was lit up, but you could see them inside the building. They weren't constructing the building. They are the people that go in after the construction is done to start doing their rough-ins. And if you don't know anything about construction, please learn about construction, the phases of construction, especially these high-rise buildings and their construction. He's on the outside. He's on the outside lifting the crane. Those cranes don't start working, from what my understanding and everything that I was told, and that was also corroborated by Silvers on the scene, that they don't start work until their actual start time 7 a.m. Okay, 7 a.m. But most of the workers that are actually part of the construction get there anywhere between 6:30 and 6:45 to check in and to start work at 7 a.m. So to me, everything I've learned is there's no possibility of Chris being there before 6:30 in the morning. And if he's not there before 6:30 in the morning, clearly he was not on his crane at 6:03 or 6:01 when Katie picked up the phone and reached out to him. Based upon the information we've learned from that job site, is he would have most likely waited to clock in after he got off the phone with law enforcement. After. So that whole story he said in the green shirt interview was smoke and mirrors. Why would somebody lie about that? I don't know. And then, of course, our beautiful, she doesn't speak too much in here because I don't know if she can. She's never been able to set up for herself and the comment. I think I've seen her comment in here one time. But anyways, this is for Andrea. She sent me a photo of what they're taking in the backyard. Okay. And if you guys remember, I believe Mob Crew talked about it. I think we've touched on it. For those that want to know what that apparatus was with the law enforcement, it is my belief that is 3D imaging cameras. These cameras scan the backyard. They give a layout in a 3D image and model. It's really interesting. This is what, and we're going to probably see what this type of camera does in the Brian Kohberger trial, because I know before they tore down the house that Maddie, Xana, Ethan, and Kaylee stayed in, they had to go and get 3D imaging. 3D imaging. And this, to me, we can't see it from this far away. We're making the assumption, but the assumption for a lot of us is this is a 3D imaging camera. And maybe we'll go and look at what those 3D imaging cameras do provide to all of us. And then before we get started on our show, I just wanted you guys to see this. And the person that sent this to me says that Seth is the Roadrunner. Seth is the Roadrunner in this one. I want you guys to see it. I got a little chuckle out of it. Maybe you guys will too. I can't remember who sent it, but thank you. I don't know if I can have the stuff on there because of the song. Because they have, I'm sure, a copyright. But if you guys watch this, it is, you know, obviously this is Roadrunner. And as you guys know, the fox has always tried to outshine the Roadrunner. And the Roadrunner always seems to just be a little bit more clever than the fox. So I can't even remember his name. I remember watching this as a kid. There's the Roadrunner. Beep, beep, meet, 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 meet. He just has to excel. He's got to always get the Roadrunner. And I feel like that's everybody else trying to always attack Seth Rogers. And when just right when everybody's ready to pounce, bye-bye. See you later, alligator. Wiley. Yes, thank you. That's right. Thank you, Phil. It's been a while. I haven't been a kid in a really long time. I try to be. Good gracious, I try to be, right? I try to be. All right, guys, here comes the main part of our show today. this is credit to 5D for getting this all put together. This is something that I believe most of us forgot about when it came to the Sebastian Rogers case. And it's a statement from a past employee. So that's been front and center on this particular show. So let's go ahead and just dive right on in. There's 2 parts to this. This is the first part. Let me make sure this is the first part. That was 9 hours. This was 6 hours. Yeah. So this is the first part of the statement made. It came from Gaping Lake originally and was parsed down and attributed to 5D. So 5D, we're going to go ahead and just get started here because I think everybody needs to hear this. We all know who Nina Gomez is. Nina Gomez is the ex-wife of Christopher Proudfoot, which is the stepfather of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He has been deemed very violent, in my opinion, by the court of in New Mexico, forcing him to have parenting classes and high conflict resolution classes, which is never heard of that particular class for a parent. But it just shows you the degree of what the courts even believe, this man is. He tried to steal lawfully kidnap his daughter, just weeks old, from the mother that just gave birth to him in those very tender and nurturing years or nurturing moments. And he didn't even bat an eye. And then we find out there's a whole lot of talk around this time behind the scenes. So let's go ahead and get started without further ado. I know this is going to be, and then we'll go to the poll. Guys, don't let me forget the poll at the end.
Matt, thanks for calling in.
No problem.
So
just getting in.
Yeah, so I'm glad you got everything squared away. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, I wasn't preparing any sound boxes or anything.
Well, I've heard that Chris Proudfoot is using a sound box on YouTube, so you never can be too sure.
It wouldn't surprise me, but then I don't want to cuss because I don't know how your show goes. But
no, you're okay. You can say pretty much whatever you want.
They're definitely a bunch of weird individuals. Let's just say that.
Weird how?
And, now, I don't want to say that he was being serious, but when speaking about Nina, I mean, he's mentioned before about like paying someone to rid her, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that was serious or just joking around. I can't say for sure. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that
is the biggest, that is a big red flag. That a stepfather would be willing to even so much as say, this wasn't coming from Christopher Proudfoot, y'all. This was coming from his stepfather, Terry Bowersocks, not Christopher. Terry is the one making these statements from what I understand. Let's go back and listen to it.
But when speaking about Nina, I mean, he's mentioned before about like paying someone to rid her, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that was serious or just joking around. I can't say for sure. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that was mentioned.
He talked about paying someone to off her?
Like, people will say that when they're angry. I know I've said it before about my ex-wife, you know. I would rather pay this than to go through a divorce with her and her get half of my shit.
Sure. People say that just in anger, you know, just spouting off.
Right.
But are you saying that Chris said that or Mr. Bowersocks?
Terry said that.
Terry said that. What? I know, Steph. I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But this was back when she was actually not, she was trying to find the truth. But see, the problem is she took a turn for the worse because a lot of people got caught manufacturing stuff. She was brought into that there right around April, May-ish area of last year, maybe went as far as June. is when we started realizing that this crew of people were manufacturing talking points and other things. It makes it quite difficult, but you can tell this person on the phone is hesitant about, they're not trying to throw too much shade. They're acknowledging that it could have been just a, mumbling under the breath type of thing. He may not have been serious, but seeing how he was the one with a baseball bat that was ready to go after Nina, a sister that was telling that her brother to put it in drive and run her over while she has her kids. I mean, this is the insanity of this family that this child, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, was living in. These people are violent thugs with money. They're violent thugs with money. Nothing more, nothing less.
Terry said that.
Terry said that.
About Nina?
And there's multiple witnesses.
Wow.
Multiple witnesses.
Wow.
Because everyone there, someone started a joke with him. Instead of calling them Bower Socks, they called them Powered by Cops.
Powered by cops. I wonder why we have such this rotten feeling about Sumner County, when everybody in that community knew that they used law enforcement to protect their asses. And here we are almost a year later, and some of us kind of feel at times they're still being protected by this law enforcement that's supposed to be protecting a 15, now 16-year-old child, not thugs with money. A child is missing from those thugs' home. Thugs with money. Wow. Listen to that statement again. This is what's known. This is what they know. This is how the inner area, right? This is Sumner County. This is what people in Sumner County say about these folks.
Started a joke with him. Instead of calling them Bower Socks, they called them Powered by Cops. Powered
by cops instead of Bower Socks. Powered by cops. I still think there needs, this stuff unnerves me. I still think there needs to be sorry, but an investigation of the investigators at times. Because this has been going on for years. At what point are they going to start looking at the evidence and actually making an arrest for Sebastian? Where in the heck is the investigation into the abuse allegations? Powered by cops. Absolutely, there needs to be an IA investigation into this body, because we're getting nowhere. It feels like we're finding stuff left and right, stuff that law enforcement should have had a long, long time ago. And we get crickets from law enforcement. We get crickets from the DA. What about finding Sebastian and bringing him home? Got it. I'm very concerned. I think anybody that says they're not concerned would be full of, you know what? Just my opinion. Powered by cops. That should be a wake-up call for all law enforcement in that community. These people have been using law enforcement to handle and wield their personal vendettas against everybody, including me. Interesting.
And that's honestly what he seemed like, rather than a family man to us. And there's no judgment there.
Power by cops? You think they're that infiltrated?
No, not cops.
mix up because people are saying they're infiltrated with law enforcement.
They're very tight there as well.
They are tight?
Yes.
Huh. How so? Like, do you know the exact relation that makes them tight? Because I haven't heard anything definitively.
No, I'm not sure. I can call a friend of mine that still works.
I can promise you that we've heard the same exact things long before we ever made it through to this community. We've heard, but we hear it all the time. Corruption, corruption, corruption. But we've never, ever experienced it before. This has been the closest to private citizens having political wielding power that we've been associated with thus far.
Works up there. And I'm sure he would probably know, but I know there used to be one, I don't know if it was lieutenant, sergeant that would come by once or twice a week, and him and Terry would sit in the office and maybe 30 minutes every time he come in.
And what were you working at? You were working at Champion, which is what? Motorhomes?
No, that's where I work now.
Well, don't tell us where you work now. No one needs to know that.
Too late.
Oh, I'm not worried about it.
Well, I don't want anything to happen.
So
Champion, people are crazy.
Isn't that interesting? He works for an RV company now. Does that mean that they've had access, or he is associated with an RV company? That's interesting because a lot of people said we need to look at that. Don't know.
But
you worked with him at your previous job then?
Yeah, he used to be MCI. New Flyer brought him out.
You what?
I said it used to be MCI. New Flyer bought them out.
Oh, okay.
New Flyer.
And what did Mr. Bowersox do there?
He was more of like an office guy, but he would come out into our area, lunch, and just BS around and talk. I mean, he was a pretty friendly guy, but he was just weird in his own way. Like,
the whole damn family's weird, not in their own way. They're just weird to regular society.
He seems like the type that would go crazy and mental and shoot the damn business up.
Whoa! Not somebody that I think law enforcement wants to be rubbing elbows with. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure these are the people or the kind of reputation law enforcement would want to be rubbing elbows with. Just saying.
Damn, those are some pretty strong feelings there.
I mean, I'm just being straight up 100% with you. And I mean, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine that, worked there as well. And he said, as soon as I was telling him the situation, he knew nothing about it. He said, that son of a bitch had something to do with it. I said, oh, I know.
More appropriate.
Mm. So you knew about the situation with Nina and her baby with Chris?
I didn't know much about it until, he would mouth off about it, and then whenever I started watching, the stuff about Sebastian, and I heard her talking about him, I was like, she has to be the one. Mm-hmm. Because that's the only one I know of in that time. That's the only kid that I know of in that time frame.
I've got to talk more about, have you ever met Chris?
Yeah, I have met Chris. At one of when they had the Christmas dinners and stuff, I've met him.
Just in passing, or did you ever have conversations with him?
No, we had conversations. I've met him, I wouldn't say over 10 times, but I mean, I've met, and I can say this, they're all pompous assholes.
Mm-hmm. They're all pompous. Did you guys hear that? They're all pompous assholes. That's what he just said. He's met Chris about 10 times. That's enough to know somebody, enough to know whether you like them or not. I'm sorry, it just is.
Are they drinkers?
Are they what?
Are they drinkers? Do they like to drink and have fun? I mean, they look like they like to go on a lot of vacations. So do they like to?
Would drink wine and stuff, at the parties. But as far as, outside of that, I don't know.
Mm. So other than being weird, I guess I'm looking for more. What you mean by weird? I mean, is it
back?
Just a vibe you get?
I'll go back a minute. Sorry, it's moving.
I mean, they look like they like to go.
I've met him.
Just in passing, or did you ever have conversations with him?
No, we had conversations. I've met him, I wouldn't say over 10 times, but I've met, and I can say this, they're all pompous assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them.
Are they drinkers?
Are they what?
Are they drinkers? Do they like to drink and have fun?
Guys, we're getting breaking news in right now. Breaking news is becoming available to us. Megan Boswell has been found guilty on all counts. If you guys don't know much about the case related to Megan Boswell, she had a daughter that disappeared. Nobody told. Nobody said anything about the child. Her name was Evelyn. They call her baby Evelyn. And nobody knew about the child missing until the grandfather, I believe, reported the child missing. Megan gave a bunch of different statements about where this child could be. The child was ultimately found deceased, I believe, in a garbage bag, thrown into this playhouse. When I hear a playhouse, I think of a plastic Rubbermaid, little short, small little playhouse. That is not the case. This was a 2-story wood structure playhouse that was filled with a bunch of trash. And this child was thrown in there like a bunch of trash, covered with even more trash, before they finally found baby Evelyn. And this mother lied. Sounds like the whole damn family was on a whole bunch of substances and not mentally well. It sounds like this mother did not want her child and ended up hurting her child to death. So this is good news. This is another crappy parent that's finally getting the swift kick of justice right in there. You know what? This child was very, very beautiful, had a beautiful life ahead of her, just born to the wrong parents. So I am praying to God that we get some movement in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. There have been other cases. Look at Harmony Montgomery. Nobody, they didn't even get started on the case for over 2 years. They didn't even know the child was missing. And they were able to put Adam away for the rest of his life. And here, and we still have no body for Harmony. We don't know where she's at. We know she's gone. We know she was detached from herself. How a father can do that to a child, I don't know. But this child here was thrown away like garbage, much like Quentin Simon. I'll never understand parents like this. But this is finally a check, a check in the right box. A check in the right box. But this is good news, guys. So let's put some prayer hands in the chat for baby Evelyn and just be very thankful baby Evelyn got justice. Justice has been served for baby Evelyn. It'll never bring her back. It's never true justice. It's never true justice. And unless this mom is going to lose her life, it's never true justice. I'm sorry. I think an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, if that's too barbaric. Maybe we need barbaric to stop some of the crap going on in this country. Maybe we're just a little too nice to the criminals that do the worst kinds of crimes. I don't think petty crimes you should be getting 10 years for. Non-violent crimes, I think that's bull. But the minute you get a violent crime, somebody that's hurt somebody, that's a different story. That's a different story. I just believe differently. No true justice for that baby. There'll be no true justice. Even if Sebastian walks through the door today, there's no true justice for Sebastian because he lost almost a year. He'll never get that time back. I
mean, they look like they like to go on a lot of vacations. So do they like to
would drink wine and stuff, at the parties? But as far as,
not a tragedy
outside of that,
over there.
I don't know.
Make sure you don't cover that.
So other than being weird, I guess I'm looking for more. What you mean by weird? I mean, is it just a vibe you get, or is his behavior strange?
I really don't want to go into it. I would rather email you.
Okay.
Do you have an email?
See, this is why I believe this person, okay? Because this person, if they were here or this was a manufactured or, some wackadoo person just calling in, they would go scorch earth, okay? They wouldn't be hesitant on speaking about certain things and not wanting certain things public. Just my opinion, guys. This is just my opinion. You guys are hearing everything that I'm hearing. So it's up to you whether or not how you believe, if you have belief in this person, because let's face it, we have no way of vetting this. Think about it. How are we going to vet it? We don't know who this guy is. Even if we can confirm that this guy does exist, how do we know it was him on the phone and not some Joe Blow? We can't. We have to use our best judgment and make decisions for ourselves. Don't put too much weight in it, even if you do believe it or don't believe it, because we can't corroborate it. Hopefully, since whoever this was on this phone has been thoroughly spoken with by law enforcement, I think it would be derelict in their duty if they are hearing this type of stuff on social media and not trying to speak to these people that have information, especially history or background information on any of the family members associated with this young boy, even if it was Seth or Seth's family. I think that if there's information that needs to be investigated, they should be investigating it. They shouldn't be sitting on their duff doing nothing. They should be making sure that they speak to each and every person that might have some information, because you don't know what information they may have that would be that little nugget. For example, what if he had a conversation with Terry Bowersox, and Terry Bowersox talked about this beautiful area in this beautiful part of their county that him and his family go to all of the time, right? And nobody knew about that conversation. Nobody's ever talked about this place. And because of them interviewing this person over a different topic, it may come up in the conversation and they're like, oh, right? And so now they set up this search or something. Maybe they find what they're looking for. Even from somebody that had no knowledge of the Sebastian or any hand in the Sebastian Rogers case, they may have that nugget of information that law enforcement can use to find Sebastian. That's why it's super critical whenever you have anybody that has had any contact with these people that law enforcement speak to them and have an interview with them. You never know what information these people hold that will be beneficial to your case. So hopefully this person has been located, and hopefully this person has reached out to law enforcement specifically to tell law enforcement their story of everything that they know about these people. I think that would be great information. Just my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. And I totally understand. It's a weird position to be in.
Business out there. I mean, just in case he's not involved,
Yeah.
He could get under,
Dude, I totally respect that. I just kind of want to get more of an idea for myself, like the dynamics.
Well, let me say, I don't know if you've seen my comment in chat. I've heard, I don't remember which podcast I was watching where one of the neighbors said that Chris called him the R word. I don't use that word, but called him the R word.
Mm-hmm.
And Terry is just as bad, if not worse.
Mm.
I think that is a corroboratable statement. Don't you think that's a corroboratable statement? Think about it. He's already made a post online talking about how Sebastian's attention span is based on how many squirrels are in the yard or something to that effect. So is he worse? It sure sounds like it, because it sounds like he was probably one of the people that liked to make fun of Sebastian right in front of his face and humiliate. How I don't know how long Terry's been in Chris's life, how long, he's been a stepfather to Christopher, but I do believe Christopher was abused as a child himself. There's a lot of stuff in his past history that does indicate, from his problems as a teenager, that tells me he was lacking a permanent father figure in his life. So there's a lot of critical information that, to me, makes me believe that Chris is a product of his own comeuppance, if that makes sense. Just my opinion.
As far as making fun of this kid.
How about Terry's wife? Have you had any encounters with her?
Yes. Probably about the same amount as Chris, maybe a little bit more, in passing when she would come in.
Mm-hmm.
And we would talk, 10, 15 minutes here or there when she would come in. And then, at the dinners and stuff, we would, all talk. But he's told me, talk to everyone there. Like, he would spill his beans to whoever. It was just like you needed an open ear to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And I could try and get a buddy of mine to call in that, got longer beside of Terry, like actually beside of Terry and under Terry, that knows a lot more than I do.
And that's a good question, and probably a great statement that probably could use some discussion about. Think about it. If Terry made these type of statements in front of this particular employee about Nina, what kind of utterances did he make in and around the time Sebastian went missing to his employees or the workers or maybe his management? I think that's a good question. I don't know if we'll ever learn any of those statements, have any answers to those questions. We would hope law enforcement has done their due diligence, such as speaking to everybody that has had contact with these people recently and into their past. You have to have a background on these people. To me, I'm just saying, this is all I'm saying. To me, sometimes, especially when nothing major is going on, you have a small town, everybody knows everybody, nobody really knows what goes on behind closed doors, even the cops, right? And even if you had buddies in the law enforcement or whatever, your relationship with them would have been based upon this facade, this lie. I'd have to think that when law enforcement starts uncovering who these people really are, I'd have to think that their loyalty to them would diminish over time, even if they were friends, because you're looking at these people, and these people, when you peel back the layer of onion, they really don't look good. They really don't look good. Trying to swipe a child just not to avoid paying child support, and then wanting to run over the mother of that child, and then you just going on and on and on, and everybody you hear that works with either Terry or Chris have pretty much the identical stories about them. Nobody, after learning, hanging out with them or getting to know them, really wants to have anything to do with them. They think they're creeps and weird and just not right. I had a story told to me where I heard that the stepfather got into a bar fight. I believe it was in Alabama. I could be wrong about the state, but got into a bar fight, and a guy hit him and knocked him to the ground. And while he was on the ground, getting the crap kicked out of him or whatever, he was laughing. Laughing. Now, I can't corroborate that, but I can tell you I heard that story. So doesn't that go kind of register pretty high on the weird the weirdo meter? I'm sorry. Does it not? What do you think? Yeah, kind of deranged. Yes, Peggy. Yes. But you hear kind of the same stories, like when people get to know, like I'm just learning this because I didn't watch this Gaping Lake, so I didn't really hear this. So had it not been on 5D, I wouldn't have been able to learn about this worker of his. But now that I'm hearing it and hearing what he's saying, we've heard another story from somebody that worked with the stepfather saying almost the identical statements about CP. Just weird for me. Oh, I'm on the wrong. Oh, sorry.
So did Terry talk about Sebastian? Did you know of Sebastian when you worked with him?
I just knew he referred to him as
that word.
I'm not going to say the word. Yeah. He used as the R word, idiot, is what he would call.
Wow. Did anybody in this family love Sebastian? Did anybody? So you've got everybody that's around his mother treating his son so poorly. Like I said, there's a lot more here. I believe Katie grew to resent her son. Do I think she always resented him? No. But at some point, with all this toxicity around her, from the in-laws, she's around none of her family, none of her friends because they're isolated. She is only around her husband, her son, and his family. And look how they treated and spoke about Sebastian for years. I just think at some point, the way she viewed her son got distorted. And I think it was just psychologically being around all these people that treated her son like pure crap, like he was subhuman, subpar. Everyone. This is sad. This breaks my heart. This should break everybody's heart. It's hard to believe that there are people supporting this family.
So that's.
Do you remember like a context he would use it in?
It was like whenever someone was talking about their kids, for example, if we were at in the break room and someone was talking about their kids and he was sitting there and he'd be like, my damn grandson, he's just I don't understand why he does some of the shit he does. He's that word idiot. And just go off on a tangent talking about, things he did or, talking about soiling his pants, unbelievable stuff.
Talking to perfect strangers about humiliating things. I don't know who in the world could ever utter Seth is a horrible father, because these people, I don't even think are human. How do you do that to a kid? Something that's out of his control. And be telling strangers private business, like soiling himself. And you know the only way they got all this information is from his stepfather.
You know, a company, coworker shouldn't know that about your grandson. You shouldn't be talking about your grandson like that anyway.
Yeah. That's awful. And how did people respond to that?
I mean, everyone, it literally, blew everyone away. Everyone there, feels the same way that everyone that I've spoke with that either worked there or still works there has said the same exact thing that I said from the beginning, that they were involved. I truly feel like they were involved in this, and it was something pre-planned.
That's your theory, huh?
And just based off of the things that man said, done, the things that I know he's done, they're very, very dirty. I mean, going as far as paying people to, for example, if you were Chris's ex, he would pay someone to come to, your house, apartment, job, whatever, and just vandalize your car, cut your tires, whatever it may be.
You know what's funny? Is I don't remember, let me see if this has it on here. I don't remember 5D. I haven't seen 5D in chat. 5D's in chat. I'd like to know if you remember when this was recorded. I'd like to know when this is recorded. You can send me an email or comment if you're not here and you're watching it on replay. I would like to know the date that this was recorded, because there's a lot that's happened to a lot of searchers. And this sounds very, very familiar to some things that searchers have complained about. And it makes me concerned, because especially if this guy has a history, why isn't law enforcement checking into this stuff? This is low-hanging fruit that they could be getting people, they can start really making people a little uncomfortable and putting them in jail for these petty crimes that they've been committing. They have access by the investigation to their text messages and phone calls. Why aren't they? I don't know.
Just to harm you and hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And if he knew that, for example, like if you didn't make good money, what he considered good money, he would make it that much harder on you. He would make it, do double of what he would normally do, because he'd be like, oh, I'm not just hurting them by their heart, I'm hurting them in their pocket too, and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a pretty mean person.
What do you think about Katie's position in this?
Talking about, like, what do I feel like if I feel like she's involved?
Yeah, where do you think she stands in this?
I think my honest opinion, I feel like her and Cassie have set, down, playing something out, playing something out, and, it happened.
Wow. I mean, we heard from Nina, the ex-wife, that, Melissa Proudfoot was saying to run her over with the truck.
Oh, I'm telling you, I can have some people contact you to tell you some stories about what now this is coming from Terry telling us now.
Oh, hey,
I don't know if it's 100% true. I never looked into it. but he's told us stories about, things that he's done, and it's kind of shocking, and it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
how is this man not in jail,
Is it something that bothered you before, or did you just never really think much of it and just think, oh, this guy is just a prick?
To
And
be
then when
honest with
Sebastian
you,
went missing, it made you like look at everything, or
to me, I thought a lot of it was just blowing smoke, and a lot of us did, except for there's a few things that I knew he wasn't blowing smoke about. I've seen that with my own eyes, or seen proof of it. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
But there's some things like, paying someone to off your, future ex-daughter-in-law, who is the mother of your grandchild. That's going a little far.
Yeah.
If you're being serious about it.
Well, I think it's very alarming to hear Nina's story and what all they went, the trouble they went to.
Like I told you earlier, yes, I said that about my ex, about doing that, rather than divorce when we was going through the divorce. But it was strictly in 100% a joking manner.
Well, yeah, I get it. But Matt, it's probably not something you want to say, even jokingly. But how many of us have heard the term cheaper to keep her? I mean, there's always, things flung during a divorce.
Yeah. And I mean, I didn't say.
There's always things flung during a divorce. This is the same creator that likes to fling unsubstantiated affidavits by one party and only show one side to run a narrative this day and age. Much different from how she sounded when she actually took this case seriously and wasn't such a gaping lake.
Just said that to like my parents. That was it. I didn't say it like anyone in public.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he would go on a tangent, and I mean, he said some of the most vile things about Kathy that, I mean, it just, when he's pissed. Let's just say that.
Oh, so he has the same problem that CP has. When he gets upset, he lets a lot of stuff just fly. That's when you need to, I wonder how easily their feathers would get ruffled. I don't know. Have they been interviewed? Have they been interrogated? I don't know.
Oh, so you're talking about Cassie, which is another ex-wife, right? Did you say Cassie?
Kathy.
Oh, Kathy. Okay, I'm sorry. He would talk shit about his wife, Kathy.
Oh yeah, he would, when he, like, if, for example, if he come into work and they had an argument the night before, she was the dirtiest. I don't want to call a female that, but she was the dirtiest,
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say, I'm just using that word. That's what he would say. And just, go off, talking about.
Sounded like he called her the WHO word. The ho word. The dirty. That's what he didn't want to say. That's what it sounded like he was implying, though.
Everything under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
I want that bitch out of my life, just on and on and nonstop. Everything. Let's just say, I'm just using that word. That's what he would say. And just, go off, talking about everything under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
I want that bitch out of my life, just on and on and on and nonstop.
Shay, I don't know. That was my question as well. I don't know when it was, but I do believe CP was abused when he was a younger child. I do believe that, because that explains a lot. And I've, some of the other stuff I've heard about him from people that knew him. I just feel that kind of way.
Now, this is around
But
a group of people.
But I don't know when Terry got in his life. That was my question I had a little earlier in the segment.
Well, in the break room, there would be, 20 people in there, and this man's just sitting there spouting all bullshit like this in front of everyone, and everyone's looking at him like, this man's fucking crazy.
Wow. And if I didn't hear all these stories prior to this call right now, I'd think you were out of your mind. That people could not be that evil.
I promise.
Evil is the perfect word. His whole family is just evil. The more we peel back the layer of onion, the more we understand why we're here. The facade, the smoke and mirrors, for years they've been able to juggle all this. And people knew about it. People just didn't talk about it.
I will email you some stuff that will probably shock you even more. And I'm going to see if I can have one person call you.
Okay.
The one that I support under Terry, and beside Terry. And,
okay.
I don't know exactly where he stands with Terry at this moment.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
He would rather speak with you off air, and then, you could record it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He might not want his identity to be known. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Let him know that if he wants to remain anonymous, that's fine.
But I can assure you, he knows a lot about that man. I mean, like I said, I know Terry. I know how he is.
Mm-hmm.
I hope law enforcement has spoken to all these people. I really do.
And I promise you, he would be willing to, if you were a hitman or a kidnapper or someone,
mm-hmm.
he would be willing to pay you. Like if Katie and Chris was to bring up something about, I'm just using this for example, if they were sitting around talking and Chris said something about he can't take Sebastian anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He is the type of guy that would be like, you find someone, to get rid of him, I'll pay for it.
Wow.
Right. Did you?
This whole damn family.
Mm-hmm.
He is the type of guy that would be like, you find someone, to get rid of him, I'll pay for it.
Right. Did you? Okay. I don't want to derail you, but did you hear the story, Matt, about Sebastian being essayed under their watch, and that Chris didn't want his daughter around Sebastian? Have you heard that?
Did I ever do that before?
No,
before
at all.
Sebastian.
On YouTube here.
I just heard it after Sebastian went missing. I didn't hear of it before then.
Correct. That's what I mean. I don't know how much you've watched on YouTube. That's all. So with that being said, I mean, knowing what we know about the ex and his daughter, Faith, if this was an issue about Sebastian because CPS was involved, and that may hurt Faith being able to come there, would that not be the same type of motive that they had against Nina in a sense?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said in that super chat, Chris has said it in interviews. Katie has said it in interviews. And the biological father, Seth, has said it in interviews, as well as reports, excuse me, that TBI has showed them videos of Sebastian's bedroom light going on and off. Okay, if they've got a Ring video showing his light going on and off, how do they not have video of him walking out of the house? If he walked out the front door, which is where his room is supposedly on that side of the house, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what they
said. How do they not have people receiving?
Yeah, it's a good question.
I mean, in my opinion, I truly don't feel like he ever walked out of the house. I feel like he left that house through the garage and was taken somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that he was made to sleep in the garage? What do you think about the mattress?
Now that would not surprise me with the way that them people are. I'm telling you, there's some dirty people that's very vindictive and will go extra lengths.
Mm-hmm. Matt, have you talked to the TBI or to the Sumner County Sheriff?
Yes, I contacted them as soon as, I found out about this, and, I contacted the detective and left the voicemail with him and spoke with one of them. I don't remember which one. I've had to look through my text message. But
they did contact you back?
Yes, I did speak with the detective on that. Because I just called in and told him that, I used to work with Perry and that,
mm-hmm.
I knew Chris and all that,
mm-hmm.
And he did leaving a voicemail is what I'm referring to. And he called me back and I told him everything that I'm telling you.
What kind of questions did they ask you?
I mean, they asked me kind of what you're asking me. They asked me, I really don't want to get into that.
Okay.
I would rather email you that.
Yeah. I get it. I appreciate you stopping when, you don't want to go too far. And I do appreciate that.
I just don't want to, them to get mad at me for.
No, and I don't want that either.
So, or ruin anything with their investigation.
Right. And I don't want that either.
Like, I was telling another creator whenever he was like, "Are you sure?" I said, "I can send you my credentials where I work with that man. I don't care. I'm not hiding anything."
You're telling the truth. I believe you, Matt.
I was like, I sent him everything, and he was like, "Now, what was he like?" And I told him, I said, he was, excuse my language, but he was a dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. He was, better than everyone else. But then.
But in all fairness, being a dickhead doesn't mean you've done something with a child. But with everything, the past behavior, how they treated him, it didn't seem like anybody on that side of the family would really care if he didn't make it back to their house from school, It didn't seem like any of them cared. You guys want to know why they left out of this? Because they didn't care. They didn't care.
Would sit there talking about hiring a hitman for, his future daughter-in-law.
Crazy. What do you think about their trip to Alaska? The Bower Sox.
That's very weird too. I find that very weird. The timing of that, from what I've heard, that it was right there.
Why would he need to go to Alaska for work? And how often does he go to Alaska for work? Because that's the story we were told. And this guy seems to be dumbfounded that he would have to go to Alaska. I'm assuming he may think that he went to Alaska for a vacation, but we were told it was a business trip, not a vacation. I don't know.
Right as Sebastian went missing. I don't know exactly when it was.
Yeah, I don't either, to be honest.
But I can tell you this, it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't have him hid somewhere with, a family member in another state or possibly even Tennessee. They're that grimy and dirty people.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for your testimony to that. I mean, it takes a lot to come forward and speak out about people that, know who you are. Are they going to be angry if they hear you up on a YouTube panel, do you think?
I don't give a shit. I said my piece to them the day I walked out of that building.
Good for you. Matt, do you know Bobby Worsham? I guess he owns the Beach Market across the street from Beach High School?
That name sounds very familiar, but the Worsham name sounds familiar, but off the top of my head,
I just
I'm better
wondered.
with
I just wondered. I guess there was camera footage from that store across the street from Sebastian's high school. And Chris went off when someone mentioned that his mom was caught on camera at Warsham's. And it was the PI, I think, that mentioned Warsham's or something.
And this was close to the time frame of when he went missing.
This was the morning of. He was called out about his mom maybe being seen on camera at Warsham's, and he got very angry about that and cut her off, and they stopped. I can't remember the exact wording, but it was strange. And then to see Katie's SUV is very similar to his mother's.
Okay, so there's number one. Here's number two. We're going to get started on number two. This is only 10 minutes. It's not going to be that lengthy, but at the end of the day, it is, that really does give you the insight of some of these people that were in and around Sebastian's life at the time. So, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the insight. And this was provided months ago, that this was on. I don't remember exactly how many months ago, but this was months ago. And we're going to be listening to this part two, which is about 10 minutes. So here's part two.
That's awful weird, her being there, right there.
Yeah, they were there like
Erica
a week later.
Hartman corrected me. She said it's the morning that he went missing at 5:48 a.m. Mrs. Bowersox is allegedly seen on camera at the store.
See, I didn't know that. Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm telling you, it surprised me. And Chris Proudfoot and Katie can act like, they've got money all they want, but they didn't pay a damn thing for that travel trailer, RV, whatever you want to call it, that came from Terry.
So what's the story on that?
Oh, so they don't owe anything on that fifth wheel. That came from Terry. He didn't have to pay anything for it.
Terry was. That's what, MCI and, the new company that purchased them out is. It's a company in Champion. We deal with like at Champion, we do like the big buses, like, that carries the football teams to the stadiums and all that. Like we do North Carolina State, all the kind of, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina area buses and RV, stuff like that. But, that RV travel trailer, whichever you want to call it, that come from Terry. 100%.
Do you know anything about like them traveling at all? Do you know anything about the Bowersox traveling in a trailer and going anywhere? They ever take vacations in their travel trailers?
They've taken quite a few. I'm talking about, I don't even know how many. I couldn't even tell you how many. It was, I would say, a minimum of 5 a year when I was there.
Do you think that they could have went to Grandfather Mountain on one of their trips?
Grandfather Mountain, from North Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not too far from their area.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Mm-hmm.
And if she was there at that store, the morning he went missing. If the dogs didn't hit on anything and there's no video of him walking out of that house,
Right.
where the hell could he be? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. PBIs, they're not shit.
Right. Thank you for saying that.
Not.
Thank you for saying that, because we hear that way too much on YouTube.
Look at the blonde-headed little girl. I can't think of her name.
Summer
She went missing a few. That Summer Wells. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but her parents. I don't know everybody else's opinion on that, but I know what my opinion is on it. And TBI couldn't crack that.
Right. Why do you think that is, though?
I'm talking about why they couldn't crack the Summer Wells or whatever name is.
Yeah.
I think Ronnie Lawson should have been fired by the community. They should have voted him out of office. They still have him in office. Yeah, you can't blame anybody but the community at this point. They've had, since this child has been missing, they've had 2 separate opportunities to replace their sheriff, and they have failed to do so.
I feel like her parents had something to do with that.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like Sebastian's case is similar or no? As far as being like sitting for 3 years unsolved?
I feel like, I don't know, something just tells me that the FBI may come in and, do a little digging around and come across something, I guess you could say, that's going to open the case wide open. And maybe that picture that was posted all over, social media was Sebastian, and they can trace whoever that is down,
Mm-hmm. I did see on WSMV today that they talked to Chief Deputy Eric Craddock, and they said the sheriff's office has continuously followed up on leads, but there was no credible ones from the photo. I do appreciate you, giving us what info you feel comfortable, sharing.
I wish I would rather email you the other stuff, just because, like I said, in case, it doesn't turn out to be them. I don't want to have him to, and doing all this and that, because I know how he is. I know the person he is, but I will gladly email you some stuff and some pictures and some screenshots, or I'll do screen
I wonder if she ever received those, or if she ever made those public.
recordings, so you don't have photoshopped anything. Because I know you was worried about a sound box or whatever. And I just want you to see some of the stuff that this man will text people.
Okay.
Now, these texts aren't to me. These are to another individual. But I just want you to see the things that he says.
The tone.
About people.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
They had 1 or 2 on there. I checked.
Okay, I appreciate that. And just let me know anything that you don't want me to share publicly, because I respect, your wishes on that. I wanted to ask you though, did Terry ever talk about Chris and him being in the military, or his crane operating skills? Like he was proud of him? What were the dynamics as far as you could see between Terry and Chris?
Chris was on a pedestal in Terry's eyes, in my opinion, that could do no wrong.
Wow.
So he would talk proudly of Chris.
I mean, it could be, when when the things went on with him and Nina there, you know, when they were going back and forth, and the TPO went out, or the restraining order, whichever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
He has an excuse for everything for Chris, no matter what it may be. Like, I would be willing to bet my salary for 1 year that at that place right now, he is up there just fine. Oh, I can tell you right now, Chris isn't in on it because he was here, he was there. You know, just he would never do anything to that kid, even though he would get mad and, you know, calling them silly words. That's just that's how he talks. He'll say silly words.
Had Terry ever given you any thoughts on Kathy's ex-husband, Mike?
That I have
no clue.
I don't know anything about, you know, that. He's never really, I never paid that much attention to it anyway.
Right.
If he did.
Right.
Just say that.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of echoing. Can you turn your speaker down just a touch? If you don't mind. It's just echoing a little bit.
Sorry.
It's okay. That's better. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, but I wish I could go into more, but it's just one of them things that I'm a little nervous to go in because people don't know how that man is. He will, like, I'm sure I'll receive some type of threat for this, but trust me, I'm not worried about it in the least whatsoever. I don't want to go too far to where he can get me civilly, you know?
No, I hear you. You're being smart.
But, you know, what I'm telling you, like I said, that's my opinion on it, you know?
I appreciate
I didn't say that he did it, you know? I just said that's my opinion, that they're involved and it's premeditated.
Wow. Well, I look forward to your email. I mean, feel free to send me whatever you're comfortable sending.
And whenever I speak, I'm going to call my buddy as soon as we get off the phone, and I will give you, if he says that, you know, it's okay, you know, he will talk to you.
Yeah.
I will.
You can text me right here on this number, too, if you want.
The same one that I called here?
Yes.
Okay. I will do that.
Okay. Thanks, Matt. You take care of yourself and go enjoy your fam.
I'm going to try that.
All right.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
I'm just like, wow. I don't know how you guys feel about this. I don't know how people can support this family. Nobody cared for this boy. Everybody talked shit about him. Not just, you know, every now and again being frustrated or this, that, and the other. No, talked crap about him, humiliated him, told people that he didn't even know how he soiled himself. This is a person that stood up and said, "Oh, this is my grandson. You don't know how we feel. You don't know how we feel." Well, we do now. I think we can conclude that we do now. I feel so bad for Sebastian. What are you doing? What are you doing? Careful. That's my camera. You guys should see her. She is just so cute. She's under the covers, but she was at my feet, and I couldn't. She kept moving the computer, and I couldn't figure out what she was doing. Oh, I need a beat. I think she's getting a little restless now. But everybody that seemed to be a person that was supposed to love Sebastian really just dogged on him every chance he got, or they got. You heard how the coworker knew about Sebastian, yet never met him. What would his impression be of Sebastian when he met him? Probably poor. Why? Because this man talked about his alleged grandson, which is not his grandson. I bet you Seth would say his son is not that's not his grandfather. I can guarantee, almost guarantee. I'm not trying to speak for Seth, but I know that the likes of them probably would turn Seth's stomach. And then to hear that they were speaking of his son this way, that's got to break his dad's heart. I mean, think about it. His dad gets off of work and his whole life changes. He has to fight CPS to even find out what was going on inside that home, and how unnerving it must be for not only Seth to learn that his son was being abused in the home, but to the degree he was being abused, and then to hear all of this after that how the whole entire family treated his son. That, yes, he did. Mama Bear, yes, he did. With the Nina situation and the family, you wonder if Katie has dealt with any situation like that and had no say on what they did to Sebastian because she was afraid. That lady is military trained. She's an MMA trained fighter. Nah. I'm not even military trained or trained in any type of martial arts. And ain't nobody telling me or putting me in fear. I'll be damned. I'm just a little 5 foot nothing. I'm just a little 5 foot nothing. And I'll tell you what. So anyways, that's kind of everything. I didn't know what to really expect. A lot of people were sending me those. You guys know who you were. There was a lot of you guys. If you say it was me, there's probably about 10, 20 more people behind you saying it was me, because the email blew up with this story. It was something that we hadn't watched because we don't really watch hate channels. And while this was prior to J4J really taking a downward spiral, she actually was, or attempted to try to find the truth. Now, it was after this interview that she started working with my ex in manufacturing crap. But this right here seemed pretty interesting. And it does have elements of truth. For example, if this was a manufactured statement, they would have went scorched earth. He wouldn't have been worried about just sending her emails or trying to get her in contact with somebody else. Or he just seemed like what he was saying was the truth for him. And it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of deception there. Some vagueness, yes, some vagueness, but I think the vagueness is because he really didn't know. But he was able to talk about things that he specifically firsthand witnessed, or conversations that he had with Terry specifically. And those things are the ones that I was focusing in on, as opposed to kind of, second and third hand information. And it seems to me that it seems that the people that work with Terry have similar things to say as the people that work with Chris. The fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree. So guys, I want to thank you. We did meet our goal. I know it's not showing that we met our goal in the channel chat, but we did meet our goal, because the goal, they don't give us an amount goal. They only give us a number goal. So either way, we're going to be here for the mullet party. I condensed the intro video.
If you shave your cooch, but not your booty hole, is that the same as a mullet?
My tongue out her ass and left. I'm on TV. Oh shit! First cops, now this. Oh.
We are going to be working and still working very hard to locate any information related to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. I know that there's a lot of people that know what happened. A lot being more than one, more than two, more than three, more than four. Okay? There are other people out there that had nothing to do with the disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers that knows what happened. For those people, this child deserves to be with his father. Whether you like this child, whether you hated this child, whether you despised this child, he was still and still is a child. The things that he was going through were out of his control. His autism was out of his control. His chromosome deletion syndrome was out of his control. A lot of his behaviors that you may dislike was out of his control. But he's still a human being. He's still a human being that is loved by his dad. And I hope anybody that has information to come forward. Reach out to 1-800-TBI-FIND, 833-TELL-DOG. A number of people will keep you anonymous and get you in contact with the right people. We just need somebody to come forward for this child. People have to be losing sleep over the secrets that they know, the skeletons in their own closet that they don't want to come out. But this is a child. A child. When it comes to a child, I don't care what skeletons in my closet exist. I will always come forward and do the right thing. And I hope somebody and the people that I'm speaking to do the same thing. Because I believe that there's teenagers that also have information related to what happened to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And there's a $250,000 reward being offered right now for information to bring Sebastian home safely, or the successful prosecution of those that caused the disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. For those teenagers that are about to go to college, that's a full ride scholarship, basically, and a nice new car to go with it. Think of your future. Think of your future. You can't fix what's done, but you sure can provide a lot of answers to a lot of questions. Thank you, Lisa B. Always reminding me to check the poll. I always forget the poll. Okay, now that you guys saw all the information, the question is, do you think Terry Bowersox was serious about hiring someone to make Nina unalive? We have 457 votes right now. I'd like to see that up to 500 votes. So we'll stick around. We got 326 people in chat. Certainly, all of you have not taken the poll. So please go over to the poll. Take it now. Let me know what you think. We're waiting for it to get up to about 500. I like nice, even round numbers if possible. If we don't see it moving too soon, then we will just have to take with what we got. We have 458 votes and still holding. Has everybody taken the poll? 459. We're moving slowly, folks. We need 40 more. 220. Okay. I'll wait for just a moment, and then I'm pulling the plug. Where are we? All right, I guess we got 461, 462, 463, 464. Okay, so some of the votes are starting to come in. All right, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, so I'm going to go ahead and end the poll now. If you have not voted, you're a day late and $1 short. So, according to the Bullhorn Betty channel poll, do you think Terry Bowersox was serious about hiring someone to make Nina unalive? 75% of our audience believes that yes, they do believe he would have ponied up the money. Wow. I guess we're just going to have to sit here and wait. Please keep Seth in your thoughts and prayers. Keep Sebastian in your thoughts and prayers. Keep all those that are struggling in our chat, whether known or unknown, in your thoughts and prayers. We're coming up to a milestone that no parent should have to come to. And that is a milestone, a 1-year milestone that your child has been missing. And you have not had an opportunity to hold, hug, or love on your child. This is not any type of milestone that we wish upon any parent. But here we are, a year after Sebastian's case started. And we feel like there's no light at the end of this tunnel. And when I feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, I always advise everybody to pray. Pray. What can each and every one of us do? Pray. Put our hands on the situation. Ask for the truth to be revealed. Ask for those to be caught. Sebastian to be brought home. Pray for the law enforcement agents working this case to find what they need to find, to give them the strength to move forward. That's what we need. When we're in dark tunnels, we pray. Because God has a way of pulling us out of dark tunnels and bringing us to the light. All right, guys, take care. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, y'all be safe. But more importantly, say it with me, kind to one another. You guys have a great day. God bless. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.